Appropriate or offensive? Newly married couple 36F and 36M. Would love some feedback on the following situation as my spouse and I, 36F and 36M, disagree. Going to describe in third person to hopefully get the most unbiased opinions. A husband and wife are walking downtown with their 10-year-old daughter. Two women, about 60 years old, walk by, one wearing a cheetah print blouse. The husband says to the woman, "You're dressed like a cheetah, but are you a cougar?" Cheetah woman says, "No, but my friend is." End scene. Wife is upset, saying that the husband was hitting on the cheetah woman. Husband thinks wife is overreacting because he was just joking. Thoughts? Definitely not hitting on her, but wildly inappropriate to say to someone, especially a stranger. It's also lame as fuck. Wife should be upset not because he's hitting on the woman, but because he's being wildly inappropriate with a stranger in front of a 10-year-old. Husband is also a jerk for dismissing her, correct, reaction to his disgusting behavior. This is a joke that I can see in some contexts thinking was funny, but not to strangers in front of a 10-year-old, which is what I would tell my husband if he had done it. I don't want to risk offending them or making them uncomfortable. I don't want to explain what a cougar means in that context to a 10-year-old. It wasn't the joke itself, it was time and place. Any 36 years old should have learned something about when the time and place for certain things is. Sexualizing an older woman in front of not only your wife, but kid is a doc move. Expressionless face. If the child is a boy, he is modeling how to treat women. If the child is a girl, he is modeling how to be treated by a man. Both of these are not what you should model for a 10-year-old. Yeah, this is weird. I can tell it's a joke, but it's still inappropriate. They were strangers you didn't know, your child was there, and it could have been construed as hitting on them. You don't have a history of rapport with these women. It's honestly good that they didn't take it badly. You definitely made your wife uncomfortable, and not apologizing for that is also kinda wild. I doubt he was hitting on her, but he was being extraordinarily rude. If I were his wife, I'd be upset that my husband treats older people like lame as punchlines. 28F struggling with calling off wedding from 29M. Thoughts? My ex-fiancé and I were together for almost 5 years. We were supposed to get married in September of this year, the year leading up to the wedding. I found out one of my best friends, who he pushed me to ask her to be a bridesmaid, had slept with my fiancé before we were together, and they both decided to keep it a secret from me and tell everybody to not tell me. We decided to move past it. 3 weeks before the wedding, I accidentally found nudes and his sex tape with his ex on his laptop. He had emailed them all to himself the first year of our relationship. I immediately called off the wedding and moved to a different state. I am severely struggling with my decision. He is saying it is my fault that I left him at his lowest, because I was paying our rent as he lost his job. We had periods of our relationship that were absolutely amazing, and I am not perfect either, but am really struggling with the thought maybe I overreacted. This guy is a loser who is just sad he can't use you to pay his bills anymore. He chose to lie from the start. I hope that friend isn't in your life anymore either. So disgusting to actively choose to keep that secret and lie to you. You did the right thing. Why did he want her standing up there at the wedding? You sure they ended their relationship? That's not overreacting. He chose to not share very critical information up front, multiple times. I've also always found it very gross when guys keep exes' nudes, but especially when getting married, that's awful. Just give yourself some time and reach out to people around you. You will find someone more emotionally mature and trustworthy. Why are you still in communication with this ass clown? Block him. I am just over here admiring that shiny spine girl. I know it feels crappy right now, but I think you did the right thing. I'm sure your lying ex is upset you are no longer financially supporting him. That is no longer your problem. He is no longer your problem. Of course he's upset. He thought he had you buying his bullshit and paying for it to boot. Don't look back. It's not your fault he's a cheating, lying dick. None of this is your fault. My partner 32M has been lying about money to me 27F for the past 1.5 years. For the past 19 months I, 27F, have been covering all the house bills while my partner, 32M, has been going to college. It was talked about, and he gets money from the VA, so he's able to cover his bills, but didn't help with the house bills, food, his clothes. I bought him clothes and shoes when needed. And I asked him a few times over the past 19 months where everything's going, and he said bills. So I finally added it all up, what he made versus what I knew he had in bills, and there was still $1,500 left over, so I asked him how much is in his savings. He had $100. And asked how, because he hasn't helped towards anything, and he kept telling me bills. Turns out he's been spending thousands on buying himself stuff off Amazon, eating out, $500 of subscriptions he didn't even know he had. We had a huge fight, of course. He said he'll change, and we made him a budget, and he says he'll stick to it and make up for the past 1.5 years. This was 3 weeks ago. I'm still so mad. I'm hurt and feel used, and I don't trust him or really like him. I need advice on if this is something people can get past and fix a relationship from. If you don't trust or like him, you already have your answer. He's used you as a free ride without any intention of changing until you finally confronted him. He doesn't respect or care about you, and he's not worth your time and energy. If by 32 he can't budget and is happy to rely on a partner to be his meal ticket, only promising change because he has been found out, it would be a no from me. This is a deal breaker. You cannot be with someone you can no longer trust. You're young and have your whole life ahead of you. You have your shit together. Why saddle yourself with this guy? Go get yourself a partner, one who you like and respect, and who doesn't need to be forced to pull his weight. Go, go, go. He was using you. He doesn't care. He is only saying he will change because you found out, and he doesn't want to lose his sugar mama. Dump the dick. A real man, a kind and honest man, would not have been so sneaky. Kick him out. If you are mad about it weeks later, you already have your mind made up. Weird thing in psychology is that once our brains reach a point of distrust, disgust, and even hatred, no matter what happens, your brain has made those traits a part of your partner, and you will never see them the same way even if you tried years of therapy. This doesn't sound like a loving person. I'd end things now before they get worse. I am reconsidering my 28 female wedding to my partner, 28 male, due to a huge fight. My partner and I have been fighting the last couple days over the fact that I don't feel prioritized by him. We had made plans to have a date today, as we haven't spoken much to over the last 5 days, as he's been spending it with his family. My partner agreed, and we were excited for it. All of a sudden yesterday, he tells me that there's a secret dinner planned for his brother's birthday that he agreed to 2 months ago. I had no idea about this, and felt a bit jaded. We live in different states, and it takes a bit of planning to make our relationship work. The reason I am so upset about this is because last year for midsummer, we'd made plans 2 months earlier to celebrate it together, which he forgot the week before midsummer and agreed to new plans with his family. In that situation, he still picked his family and expected me to be understanding, as his family had booked a cabin which I wasn't invited to. He could have told his family that I would be joining, but he didn't do that. We had a huge discussion when that happened and resolved our issues. Cut to now, he's still picking his family because apparently it matters more when the plans were made, which is a direct contradiction to his earlier judgment. I've started to feel like whenever there's a choice between me and anyone else, I'm never the one picked. And I'm having second thoughts about getting married to him in 4 months. The wedding venue has been booked, invitations have been sent out, people have booked flights to come to where I live. And I'm not able to figure out if this situation is one that can be worked out or one that is so serious that I need to make a decision now and let people know so they don't waste more money into a wedding that might not happen. Is it common to have these fights before a wedding? Is it common to feel not prioritized, and am I making a bigger deal out of this? I know that no matter what, I need to have this conversation with my partner, but I'd really like some advice on how to handle this situation. I'm going to be real. If you get married knowing he chooses his family over you, you are acknowledging this as the rest of your life with him. Going into labor? Brother has a party, so can you wait? Important work dinner he's invited to. Sorry babe, my mom's invited me. Christmas is alone at forced to be with only his family. Is that the future you want? He isn't forgetting, he is choosing his family over you. I don't think this will get better. Are you going to stay living apart once you're married? How is this going to work? You're getting married in 4 months, and you don't live together? If he always chooses his family now before marriage, it is unlikely that will change after. It's also weird that you are his fiancé and not invited to his family events. And getting married in 4 months, but not moving with him for 6 months? It doesn't sound like a good way to start a marriage. No, this is not common, nor does it bode well for a potential marriage. We had a huge discussion when that happened and resolved our issues. How? Because it doesn't sound like the actual root problem has been even remotely resolved. If you marry someone for whom you are not their first priority, that will not change with marriage. In fact, Often it'll get worse, as they feel like they can make less effort once they locked you in. If I was you, I'd at the very least be postponing the marriage, and being very clear about why. In fact, I'd never want to be with someone who always chooses his family over me, and shows me consistent disrespect at all. It's unlikely to ever change, except temporarily. Choose someone who loves you so completely that they would never make you second best.